Welcome back to the Elle-Sera podcast. And today I've got Kirsty Doyle. She is a fashion designer, one of Liverpool's most famous fashion designers, and somebody that I wear her clothes all the time. She's great. And we're going to find out all about, well, her history and also the KD Club, which for anyone who's a mother listening to it, you should be definitely getting on it. Hi, Kirsty. How are you doing?
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for having me. It's the first time being a guest on someone else's podcast, so I'm delighted.
Popping your cherry.
Yeah, exactly. What better way to do it?
I know, yeah. Well, I'm so grateful for coming on. Thank you very much. So for anybody who doesn't know you, can you give us a potted history of your background?
So, okay, this is my history that I give when I go into schools. So I've been doing this since I was 18. I had a market stall. I've always known that I wanted to be a fashion designer since I was like 8. I grew up in a super creative household. My mum used to teach sewing, so we had fabric everywhere. And a little fact about me, I never wore a uniform as a child. So it's not legal to wear an actual uniform through primary school. So throughout primary school, I was the only kid who didn't wear a uniform.
How did that make you feel?
Different. I was also a vegetarian.
Okay.
So I was the only vegetarian in North Liverpool, probably, not wearing a uniform. And I think my career started as a young child, like experiment with clothes every single day instead of wearing a school uniform. So I started with a market stall at 18, did a television show called Project Catwalk in the middle of my second and third year. Absolutely loved it.
I remember that. I didn't know you did that.
Yeah,
wow.
Do you remember it? It was the first series with Liz Hurley.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, she used to take the mic about me Scouse accent.
Right.
People.
Oh.
So I absolutely loved it. Went to live in London, so did that over the summer holidays. And then the final was at London Fashion Week. And it was also my final degree show as well at the same time. So I managed to time it really, really well. Absolutely loved it. It was doing a reality TV show before social media.
Yeah.
If we can remember that.
Well, Desperate Housewives was before social media, really. I think we had Twitter.
How lucky were you?
Know. No.
Do you think?
No, well, not really, because can you imagine, like, how many followers I would have and like how many collabs I would have by now?
But really? Would you prefer to have done a reality TV show?
No, maybe not. I mean, I'm just glad we grew up kind of, without mobile phones. So you could go out, party, do what you want, get your face off and be absolutely no recollection of it.
Absolutely zero.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to have put myself in the public eye with that amount of social media and the way it is now. And being such a young age. How old were you when you did
25.
So it's still really young, isn't it? Like I was like 21. And I think and that is such a young age to have had any sort of negative backlash, I would have been, heartbroken a bit.
And the thing is, they give you too much stuff, and there's so alluring.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like plastic surgery just gets shoved on you,
I know.
turkey teeth and all that, and it's too hard to like say no to it.
Could you imagine your DMs just being flooded with, we'll do this, skincare, this, and you'd be like, you're 21 going, okay, yeah, all right, and just,
And then you end up with a face full of filler, lips full of filler,
I know.
looking gross.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it? So I feel really, really lucky that I did something like that without all that social media hype or, negativity. And then since then, I've had shops in Liverpool, Menopause, still with national retailers, and now we're in the Baltic in Liverpool, and we've just paused our bridal business, and we do custom-made bridal, and we have the online business where we sell the women's wear, and we tailor and make everything in the studio. That's always been the DNA of the brand, always, always.
Yeah, I remember you came on my radar when you did. I'd seen your name around the city, but then you also, like, intimidatingly so. I used to think she was so intimidating. I'd never even met you either.
Shut up, no way.
But I used to think, oh my God, I could never have any Kirsty Doyle. So how weird is that?
I have never been called intimidated to my face.
And then you designed the outfits or the uniforms for Hilton.
Yeah. I think there's a huge gap in the market for that. That might be something I might go into.
100%.
Is uniforms, honestly. I think when you're fashion designer, there's nothing you can't design.
Yeah, well, when my partner is doing, he does all these venues, and I'm always like, maybe you should bring it into the outfits. But then the problem with that is, because we've looked at this before, because we were going to get these like jacquard jackets and stuff like that for one of the venues that he's got. And it's like, okay, you get staff that leave then everything's custom made to their sizes, or they get, it's very difficult, quite expensive.
We're speaking to somebody at the minute about doing it, and it's the difference I think that we could offer is offering an inclusive size range. That is really important to us as a brand. So we do 6 to 24, we do 3 different leg lengths because we make it. We can.
Oh yeah, exactly.
We don't have to buy all that stock in.
Yeah.
We just make whatever order comes in. Now I think that would be a point of difference for us for uniforms, because an inclusive size range is so important right now.
I know, but what if
it always should have been?
All right, say you've got a staff member, you've only got one staff member that's a size 22 and they leave.
Yeah.
That's their...
Yeah. Hospitality has such a high staff turnover, doesn't it? Yeah, it's wild.
So then you've lost...
It's an investment, isn't it?
Yeah. So, and if you've got a high turnover of staff who are constantly taking these custom-made pieces with
Stealing
them...
the uniform.
What are we going to do?
No.
Yeah, so it's just one of them. Yeah.
But yeah, that's where, it would have been at the Hilton all those years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you couldn't turn around and say, oh, well, they're a size 10, they can have the job because we've still got the jacket.
That would be bad. Yeah, could you imagine? Yeah, that's when we did the Hilton. That was millions of years ago.
I know.
I think the scary thing is, I think everything is so current. Like, oh yeah, you were in that was a couple of years ago. Yeah. No, it wasn't.
No,
that's a lie. Like, I had a customer recently and she said, oh, you made my flower girl dress and I've just made her bridesmaid's dress. Oh, no.
Oh,
so I was doing it for such a long time, like 22 years.
Yeah.
Such a long time.
What's been some of the high points of your career? Obviously, you've had Project Runway and things like that, but what have been some of the other amazing things that have happened? Well,
I did the Project Catwalk, and then I got a phone call from Project Runway, and I just had Ariana, so she was about 8 months old, and they were like, we want you to do Runway All-Stars, so we want you to come to LA. So I was talking about this recently, and I obviously... pure Scouse, and I speak really quickly. So what I had to do was take these calls really late at night from the people in LA, and I had to speak incredibly slowly. And they were like, you can bring Gary on, you can bring your partner, it's going to be in New York. It's an amazing opportunity. There'll be people from all over the world on the TV show. And I was like, oh my God, when you're thinking, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to figure out how to do this. And then I got the contract through, which said anything that I make beyond that after being on Project Runway, they owned a percentage of. And so it wasn't the fact that I'd have to take my daughter and my partner halfway across the world and only see them for an hour a day. It was the fact that they'd own every, a percentage of every product going forward. So that's why I didn't do Project Runway, but it was great to be asked.
They do put that in every contract. I think, so they put that in our Housewives contract, and then they do it in the Real Housewives of Cheshire contract as well. So there's ways around it though. You either set up your business before you do it, and then they can't touch it because you've not.
Oh,
if
really?
If you just set up your business before and you were making products through it, they can't touch it.
No way.
Then, because that was always on my mind. Yeah. And then they used to argue about, well, hang on a minute, you're going to make a lot of money, but you're never going to get better publicity. So it's a double-edged sword. I totally got it. But I don't know, maybe you could push back, put a time limit on it for the next 3 years maybe. Because, something like that, I don't know.
That was wild.
Yeah.
At the time, me sitting in my house.
So that's gutting. So you didn't go ahead.
No, she was only 1, so it was years ago. She's 9 now. But what an incredible opportunity that would have been. But it just wasn't right for the time. And then obviously I've created my own wedding dress. You know, that was at the height of, our busiest time of year, because we had wedding season after COVID. So we had so many postponements. We had almost 2 years worth of postponements. So at the beginning of that summer wedding season, I decided to get married at the end of it. So I made 4 wedding dresses in 7 days. It was insane. And I had 12 bridesmaids.
Wow.
At the end of the busiest wedding season we've ever had. 2.
2 people.
2 on bridal.
God, so
insane.
It is insane. And the problem is, so from a consumer point of view, I mean, unless you really ram home the fact that this is custom made, custom designed, etc., people have just got used to that whole fast fashion market. You've got your fast fashion market, and then you've got your mass market, and then you've got obviously your high street, your even more expensive high street like your Jaegers, your Reese or whatever. But they're all standard. They're not custom fit and they're not all custom designed. No. And that's the problem. People, I think, have a hurdle with that. Obviously not round in Liverpool, because I think it's a very It's a real Liverpool thing.
It is to get an outfit made.
To get an outfit
100%.
made. But I don't see it in any other city, really.
No, I think how many dressmakers, fashion designers, fashion entrepreneurs, whether they're buying it in and selling it, you know what I mean? I think Liverpool is a hugely inspirational city for that. Young girls, 18, selling things on Instagram. Brilliant.
I know.
I love to see it.
I know.
You know what I mean? Self-taught.
They don't talk about it though. So I go to a lot of like London events, where especially in e-commerce.
Yeah.
And I'm always saying, well, because they're always doing rounds of funding, they're always giving equity away. And I'm just literally like, up north, we don't even have these conversations. No. Like women don't get funding. No. And I'll tell you what, northern women definitely don't get funding. Ooh. So, and I'm a bit like, no, everyone I know up north is like self-funded.
You are? I was saying to your podcast and you're exactly the same.
Yeah.
What do you think that is then? Do you think it's almost like a proud thing? I'm just going to do it myself. Like I'm going to drag myself. I honestly don't know.
Or it's just not spoken about that there's this money in the market that you can go and get it. Whereas in London, I get pitch decks all the time because I do a lot of angel investing. So people send me their pitch decks and say, I'm raising money to start a business. They're raising money to start a business because they don't want to risk the capital by themselves.
Haven't even started it.
They have just got an idea for a business and
Glorious.
They don't want to pay for it. They want to get other people to pay for it. Well, great. So there's one company who raising 500 grand to start the business.
Yeah.
And so I read the pitch deck. They've not sold one product. In fact, it's not even landed into the UK yet for even tests. And they were already valuing the business at 3 million.
Oh, I love this. I watch Dragon's Den all the time and they go, how much is it going to be valued at? Yeah.
Okay.
And you see their faces just drop. Like, are you even real?
No, I know. And I thought, God, what a way to not get me investing here. So it just makes you pissed off because then I'm like, how much have you put in? Expecting me to put some money in.
There's no skin in the game.
Yeah, you've not no skin in the game. And if you do put your own skin in the game and I have to personally guarantee it, then that's a different level of pressure and there's only one way you're going to come out. You're going to come out fighting. You're going to last tooth and nail. You're going to go for it. Yeah. And I want to see that when I invest in people and when I invest in founders. I want to see that they're going to go the distance or they're going to deal with that pressure because I know myself as a founder who is under that pressure. I know what an emotional roller coaster it is. Yeah. So, but yeah, up north, I just feel like everyone just cracks on, does it themselves. Like they don't even think about going, oh, well, we've got a really profitable business here. Our lifetime value is amazing. And I could go and get 500 grand from an investment fund and really boost the business, but they just don't even entertain it.
What do you think that is then? So do you think that's obviously we can talk as female founders and obviously it's like 2%, it's absolutely gross. But if we're educating younger people to say you can go out, because I mean, we're not maybe just not educated. Like our parents didn't say it. Does it come from a generational thing of like? I
definitely think this is why I'm quite vocal about it. And even I went to LinkedIn's headquarters to talk about angel investing. And even I was like, I'm going to be really candid. I'm going to tell you how much money I've invested. I'm going to tell you how much the business is worth. I'm going to tell you, I'll be straight because I think people need to know figures.
Yeah, agreed.
I've invested in this company. Well, how fucking much? Do you know what I mean? This is what these people want to know. Was it 1,000? Was it 10,000? Was it 25,000? Whatever it was. And I think you need to be candid like that. And
do you think that's a northern thing? We're just open books, like
no. I think it's kind of a thing that's like it's taboo, isn't it, to talk about money or talk about your wages. And especially for females to do it, it's like vulgar.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it because how are you going to get better? Exactly. How are you going to become more financially literate if you don't start talking about it?
Yeah.
And talking about investments and actually, well, I'll tell you what, that money stops doing Zara hauls. Stop doing Zara hauls because I guarantee in 12 months' time, you'd have enough for a really nice chunk of change to put into an angel investment of a business that you pretty much like that can accrue you wealth over time. And do that times 5. Yeah. What a nice pot of cash you'll have.
But this is the interesting thing. I listened to a podcast about this and she broke it down exactly as you have, which makes me that makes it really easy for me to understand. So stop doing your Zara hauls,
Yeah.
put it into here, £100, you know, it could be £100 a month.
Yeah.
If you break it down, I think investment, you think investment bank, you think mail, you think suitcase, you think, you know, Wall Street, all this, you know, oh, that can't be me. I can't invest. Investing is huge sums of money, but it's not.
And I think people...
It makes it achievable.
Yeah, I think people think you've got to be a multimillionaire to be an angel investor. And this is why I went to LinkedIn headquarters to talk to their staff to say, I'm definitely not a multimillionaire, 100%. And they were saying, well, what's your strategy for picking the people you invest in? And I said, whoever I'm investing in, can I help them? And can they help me? Yeah. So I'm going to give them money, but I'm also going to want something from them in return. Yeah. So I do strategic investments because I'm like, would I go for a coffee with this person? And if the answer is no, probably not going to invest in them either. Yeah. But also, have they got a network that I need to get into or would like to be part of or whatever? Yeah. Or can their skill set, like I invested in a finance company. I'm absolutely shit with finances in terms of like cash flow and everything. That's what they do for a living. Delightful. So that's what I needed. So there you go. Yeah. There we go.
Absolutely.
So that's the way I pick them. You know?
But I think this is going to change because this is part of our vocabulary now. So we're talking to each other about it. You talk to your friends about it. You talk to your daughter about it. Yeah. And say to them, you know, obviously we're female founders and we've got daughters. So we open so much like, I think about her future a lot, you know, and what world she's growing up in. That is really important to me. And that's probably why I've, you know, started the KD Club. And it goes back to why you start businesses, to help yourself. Yeah. Truly, it's a problem that you want solving. And if you can solve that for yourself, I've done it for years, made me a wedding dress, made a maternity line because I was pregnant, you know, made, you know, trousers that I want to wear every day. I'm solving my own problems and joyfully other people's, you know what I mean? Sure. So the same goes with investing.
Yeah.
You know, exactly as you've just said.
I do not claim to be amazing at anything, but I just, it's nice to have the opportunity now to be able to invest. Yeah. And it just made me realise that, wow, actually, if I just, it's like one less holiday a year or something like that. That's for me anyway. It's just one less holiday a year and then I can invest in something. And I think it's really important to talk about, especially for females.
I agree.
And the other thing is, don't be thinking like, oh, well, I'm going to put the money in this month and then I can get it out in the next 3 months. No. Forget about it. Forget about it for like 10 years. Forget about it. You can get rich slowly. Yeah. You only get rich slowly. Yeah. And anybody who does it overnight, well, very, very 0.01% of people will do that. But you're going to spend a long time retired and you're going to need a big fund at the end of it.
You come back and go, 10 years later, wow, that's a lovely surprise. Yeah, you know, like that's the kind of thing,
absolutely.
Isn't it?
And if these businesses like get the valuation that they, you know, hope they're going to get, then that'll be a nice pot of change for me. And I'll be thankful that today's Elle-Sera did that.
Oh, yeah.
All them years ago.
100%.
You know what I mean? And I didn't blitz it on fucking what? A handbag that's now out of date and a load of shit that's going to go into fast fashion.
Absolutely not.
And into landfill.
Yeah.
So we touched on it there, the KD Club. Yeah. Talk to me about the KD Club. What is it and why mums should be getting on board with it? In fact, everyone should be getting on board with it.
Dads, mums, the full crew. Okay, so the KD Club started as it's changed and evolved. Oh my gosh, like every small business, you know, does. It was originally going to be for women coming out of COVID, you know, learning a side hustle. So alterations, cutting, making things. It's developed into something we do for young people now. So it's 8 to 18-year-olds. It's obviously got a huge female focus, but anybody can do it. The classes are online. So we've got online classes that you can go on and your child can learn to thread up the sewing machine, or they can do fashion illustration, or we've got singing classes on there. We've got baking classes. It's learning a creative skill on a digital platform in a safe place. So obviously, I spoke earlier, I've got a daughter who's 9, so she's coming up to that age of the impending phone conversation. And I am like an absolutely no. We're a non-digital household, so we don't have any iPads.
Love this.
We don't have... our house is a super creative house and they get bored, so they'll have to find things to do. You know what I mean? I'm trying my best,
Yeah.
like every other parent, trying to navigate this new social media. So what I want to do is create a safe digital platform which they can come on. We've got yoga, we've got affirmations on there, we've got something you can listen to do a walk. It's a real mindful, holistic, safe, happy
With it being a digital platform then, how did your daughter get on it?
Just go on the big computer in the office.
No.
No, I've got a big black horrible old computer that she has a mouse with a wire on, the lot. So she has to go on there.
Yeah.
And then what it's developed into, which I'm so excited about, is going into schools. And so I've got the Kirsty Doyle brand, which we built up a community of amazing women that shop with us, never shop with us, just watch our journey, watching us grow. And I put something out there, and so many of them are female teachers.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming. Primary and secondary, please, Kirsty, will you come in and speak to my students? So it snowballed. We did a project with the Grand National. So we chose a primary.
That was great.
Oh, I loved
Just
it.
all the content around that was great. It was fab. Yeah.
It was so well received.
And what was that? So the kids made outfits.
They designed an outfit for a day at the races.
Right.
And then our tailors made it up for them into real life.
Wow.
And then it went on display in John Lewis. So if you think about it, what I'd like to do with the KZ Club and our schools programme is to give these young people from whatever background, and we're talking across the city and now national level, opportunities. So they can have this creative CV by the time they're 16 to say, well, my outfit was on display in the Grand National. I spoke to tailors.
Yeah.
I got my ideas across. I presented. And then our latest exhibition is in a gallery. So they can then say that my work was displayed in a gallery. And so it'll go on and on. You'll have this little pathway, and hopefully I'll build these relationships with these schools and these kids because I just love it. And, we hopefully I'll have a retail partner for the Christmas and do a pop-up shop so they can experience different things.
It'd be good then. Let's say they get one design that was like amazing. Do you know what I mean? You pick one and then you were going to make, I don't know, 100 of those dresses or 50 of those dresses, and they actually went on sale somewhere. Yeah. Let's say you could do like a competition where then kids could enter. They put in their design, and the winner is going to get 50 of these dresses made.
And they get the money.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And then I think as part of the KD Club, like we were talking about, it's using this language, it's using this vocabulary so that they understand.
Yes.
And maybe, do you do that already? Like
we've got a business plan.
Yeah. Financial literacy.
Yeah.
And do like segments on this is a P&L, this is cash flow.
Imagine if you'd have got that. So this is what we were talking about earlier before the pod was that entrepreneurship, it isn't massively encouraged in schools. You might do it as business at GCSE, but imagine doing it at 11.
I know.
Oh my God, there's entrepreneurial children out there who are naturally like, I'm going to buy this Mars bar, I'm going to sell it for double.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it into school. Or I've printed these T-shirts at home. It's so easy. And set up a Shopify site.
Yeah.
It's there for the taking.
I know.
Or Printify, you can do your drop shipping.
Yeah.
It's so easy for young people to do. And whether it's a side hustle for them as they go through school, or whether it's something that builds. I mean, if somebody used to come up and says, oh, I love your dress, where's it from? Oh, it's mine. I made it.
Yeah.
What greater boost of confidence is that? Like for a young person to say, oh, I made this T-shirt. Do you want to buy one?
Yeah.
I started in a market stall. You don't need that anymore. You've got Instagram, TikTok shop, Shopify.
Yeah.
But some people's parents are maybe not creative or fashion or business minded, but they've got these young people that they want to support and nourish. And hopefully that's what the platform will be.
Yeah, 100%. No, absolutely. I would definitely positively encourage my little girl to get into I had a sewing machine and we used to make cushions for like neighbours on the street, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then we went into potted plants, like fake artificial plants.
Love it.
And stuff like that. We were always selling all kinds of shite around our neighbourhood.
Yeah. Same. I had a piano school when I was 12.
I know.
Taught all the kids in the street how to play piano. I think if you think about your own daughter's journey, you're both self-employed. That's part of her vocabulary. That's part of who she is. She'll see both parents working different hours, absolutely grinding.
Yeah.
That's just going to be part of who she is.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, I'd love her to have a little business. Because I do try with the other two, Danny's kids, and they're just like, and I was like, oh, maybe you should think about this and this. No, they're just not interested. Yeah. And I was like, why don't you get involved in this? No, don't care. Why do I need to know? Why do I need to know? I can just ask my dad. Right, okay then. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like that would be something nice for me and Grace to do.
Oh, 100%. Definitely. I think...
when I started this business, I remember Danny saying to me, you need to register for that. and I hadn't even, this was in sketching zone at the moment, and I had not even brought it to life, this business. I was like, no, I don't think I need to. And he was like, no, you do. You're going to sell more than 80 grand, aren't you, in the first year? I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, that's no ambition, is it, if you're not? He's like, yes, you are. And if you're not going to go into this believing that you are, like, don't do it. And I was like, okay, fucking hell, all right. Then I was like, how do I register for that? You know what I mean? Ringing them off and blah, blah, blah. But that was never in my vocabulary to even think about doing that. And I definitely wouldn't have done that if he'd made me do it. Apologies for interrupting this podcast, but I need to ask a favour. If you're enjoying this podcast so far, then please hit that subscribe button right now. I'll be straight up and honest that I want to see this podcast grow and flourish into something that I'm really proud of. And the only way that I can do that is with your help. So if you've ever learned anything useful from these conversations, then please return the favour by liking, rating, subscribing, and maybe even sharing it with your friends. Thanks very much. Let's get back to the episode. And then the other thing was, I was ringing up Royal Mail. I said, I need a business account. Like, how much do you send? I was like, well, I haven't sent anything yet. And they were like, you can't get a business account until. I was like, no, I'm going to be sending a lot. And they were like, well, you don't know that. I was like, yeah, I do know that. You know what I mean? I was like, I do know that. So you might as well just start me off with a business account because I know I'm going to be sending a lot. Yeah. Anyway, I was. And they were, you know, but it was to get the decent rates and stuff. I was like trying to guess how much I would sell and stuff like that. But again, one, it's having the confidence to do that. And two, I didn't really, I'm learning on the job a lot of the time, you know, because.
But imagine if you'd have done all that at 16.
Yeah.
You know, imagine if you'd have done all of that, figuring everything out about setting up a business, whatever that business may be, at 16.
Yeah.
So you know by the time you were like 19, 20, I know what I'm doing now. I've hit my stride now, rather than being like, you know, 23, 24, which is so wonderful. Yeah. But I think if it's part of a young person's, you know, this is what we do. Yeah. I'm just gonna start a business. Yeah. And I equally think, and you'll hopefully you'll agree, but it builds resilience. That didn't work. Of
course it does, yeah.
Like nothing else. Yeah. Maybe a job in hospitality would be the next other thing, which is like, you've got to build that confidence.
Absolutely.
But I think if you can do that with young people, especially, I think young people have so much pressure on them now in a way that I probably can't understand. I'll try my best to understand, and we'll watch it in our own children. But I think it's, you know, as much resilience you can build in that child to be able to take on what's coming next.
No, 100%, yeah. You know, especially if they come from like a really lovely, comfortable household. You know, there's a different vibration in a household that's not like a comfortable household, isn't there? Yeah. That kind of builds resilience too, and you can see a lot of things, and then try and fail, and that's why sport is so good too, because you've got to be, you know, you've got to learn winning and losing and everything else. So totally agree with you. So if anyone listening to this wants to get their kids involved in the KD Club, how do they do that?
So they just search the Kirsty Doyle Club and sign up. KirstyDoyleClub.com, and you can sign up and we'll keep you up to date with everything, all of our different competitions. So obviously the opportunities that we're doing now have been so school focused. But people get in touch all the time saying, my daughter would love this, or my son would love this, please can we get involved? So once you're signed up, we'll keep you in touch with the mailing list. But generally, I think it's something which is just going to snowball. It has done over the last sort of 6 months since us going into schools.
And what do you do when you get to school? So you go in there and you speak to a class of kids. Yeah. And then where does it go after that?
So I didn't really read my emails that well when I was really busy with the Randox competition, because we obviously had the other two businesses at the time. So I just I'll turn up at school, let me know what time and the address, blah, blah. Didn't read the email, and you turn up, they go, it's a full school assembly. Right. So you walk out in front of like 400 little primary school kids staring at you. I know. And then they do a Q&A at the end, and they'd be like, you know, are you like Gucci, miss? Or, you know, and then one kid was like, what about the dinosaurs? And I was like, oh, this is just so me. But you just speak to them and you encourage them and you tell them you believe in them, and everyone can have a go at it. This is such a positive way of speaking to children. You can't not do it, right? So like, I had one little boy and he just did a picture of a football kit, and then we moved onto the mannequin and he draped this most beautiful like green red carpet gown. You know, and you just go, where did that dress idea come from? So what you're doing is you're unlocking this creativity within these young people. So I go into SEN schools, I've gone across the board, and you see engagement from children that may be non-verbal, a deaf child, you see engagement from children who are really on the periphery of the class, who have got no confidence at all, who come through and who'll talk to you and, oh, what about this, Kirsty? And it feeds my soul like nothing else.
That's so
to be
good.
able to turn on something within a young person to go, yeah, I really enjoyed that. I've never tried that before. I've never touched fabric. I've never crafted before.
Yeah.
Like that, coming from a household which has got glue sticks everywhere and lollipop sticks and fabric, and you take all that stuff for granted. Some children don't have that in the home. You know what I mean? So you're giving them an opportunity to say, yeah, okay, you're from, it doesn't matter where you're from. You can be a fashion designer. I believe in you. And obviously the fashion design industry, it's so, how am I going to do it? I can't afford it. I can't afford to live in London. I haven't got any connections. I can't afford to do an internship in London. There's so many barriers to entry.
There are, but I think Manchester is becoming a real fashion capital of the North.
Yeah.
I know you've got a lot of fast fashion brands there, but you've got others. You've got Nadine Marabi, she's there, and that's obviously a higher price point, isn't it? You've got a few around there, haven't you?
Yeah, it's certainly getting so much better.
Yeah.
So you could stay at home and commute. How is that young person going to make it work in the world of fashion?
Yeah. Yeah. At least they've got like big headquarters in the North. So then at least you could probably do work experience there or get a job there, see how it works, see how they do marketing, see how, that's so important as well. You might be the best fashion designer in the world, but how do you do your marketing? You've got your own particular style of how you sell your clothes. So do you want to tell people about that?
Oh, sure. I think it came out of COVID. It literally came out of COVID because you couldn't book a model.
Yeah.
You couldn't book a model, you couldn't book a photographer, a makeup artist, but I had to still pay wages.
Yeah.
So you have to do what you've got to do. You get in front of it, you start talking to camera. I'll try this stuff on, and that's worked.
Yeah.
And we've done photo shoots which have cost so much money. Hair makeup models, doesn't sell, doesn't land.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
it
I
just
totally
doesn't.
agree.
I said to you before, you're the face of the brand.
I know. And I do a lot. I'm sick
of looking at my own face.
Yeah.
I honestly am.
I am. And I feel like, so I do a lot of the abroad ones.
Yeah.
Which works for us. But because it's harder to find a model abroad and then dealing with that, the usage rights of those imagery and blah, blah, blah. I mean, we just use our real customers because one, it's better. And two, we haven't got all the bollocks of model release forms. Oh, you can only use this in, on your social media. If it's in print or it ever goes on a billboard, you can't do this, that and the other, and you can only use it for the next 3 months. Shut up.
No.
Like, shut up.
That shoot could cost you X amount of money, and then you've got these amazing real life customers who you're getting this story and they're engaged, and then people go, I look just like her.
Yeah.
I can see, that's where this was work for her, or you've got a model. Because now people are just looking for models model agencies are taking on people who are real.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going backwards anyway.
Exactly.
So if you're already at the forefront of doing it, we did one which was a real women KD campaign, and I just said, does anybody want to be part of the campaign? And I got hundreds of emails, and I opened email after email, and I was so emotionally invested in these women, and they said a lot of this was their effort year.
Yeah,
they're going to do something they've never done before. They were going through this or that in their lives. They can't believe why they've even written the email to be part of the campaign. And what we got out of that, oh my God, it was just incredible. When you work with real women.
Yeah, no, there's a lot more heart and soul in there, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it lands better. You're not wrong. Yeah, sometimes when we overstyle stuff, the overstyled stuff, which is usually me modelling for it, and I've got a particular way I want to look, right? Like the worst likes ever, you know what I mean? But you have to have them as part of your marketing mix. Yeah. You have to have these high-end looking, really super glossy, woman on a beach shot.
So which works for you? Which does your customer? Which one?
Oh yeah, definitely not them. It's the customer testimonials.
Is it?
Yeah. That we get the best engagement on, definitely.
It's
so we know
stories.
that. And pictures of product, fancy looking pictures of product, high resolution, gorgeous, blah, blah, blah. Nobody gives a shit about. But you know that because it's emotion. You're selling emotion. We're not selling the product. We try and sell the emotion, the outcome of the product. So
Absolutely.
It's going to make you feel better. It's going to make you feel more confident. It's going to make you feel sexier. All these things, we try and sell that emotion.
Yeah.
Very difficult to do. And, we're still not getting it right 3.5 years later. But you try and you keep going and stuff.
But don't you think a lot of that's down to your customers changing, or so you're bringing in new customers, you got to find out what's working with them? Or do you think
but I feel Instagram's changed because it used to be about just high-end glossy images. I feel I'm still there in my head. Like me personally, like very curated, like stunning pictures, you know, but absolutely, well, there is definitely still a place for that in our marketing mix. But the behind the scenes stuff, the podcast stuff, obviously people get to know me a bit better by us doing the podcast. And your personality shine through. So now we're starting to do a bit more like employee generated content with me and Kelly in the office.
Yes.
Because that works well too. And people can see who's behind the brand a bit more. And then obviously we still got the high-end glossy images, which could, you know, adorn the pictures of Vogue. We've been in Vogue 3 times now.
Oh, I love it.
And Harper's Bazaar, Tatler, all things like that. So, but some of they don't get any engagement because who gives, it's just a pretty picture, isn't it? Of a product. And again, it goes back to like, what is the person viewing this content? What are they getting out of it? You know, people want value, don't they?
Yeah.
There's not much value in a gorgeous picture of a golden decanter.
They want the they want to solve a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think something that I'll probably go down the route with is with the KD Club is solving the problem of young people being on phones and social media and the effect that has on young women in terms of, because that would be a problem that I would look for advice on as a mother. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's what I would say. I think solving that problem will engage people to say, and then hopefully a community around that can help other people. Yeah. Because I feel like we're just going into the unknown.
It scares the hell out of me. It really does. It's like Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok. I fear for their attention spans. I fear for everything, really.
Everything.
Yeah. How old's your little girl?
So she's 9. I've got a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old. And we try and do a bit of everything with her, but we've just started boxing with her. Right. With in a cage, you know, like proper real life boxing, not boxing for fun, not oh gosh, let's have a go. It's real life boxing, because I want her to be so confident within her body that if she needs to in the future, you know, hold someone down, or I just need her to know that like she's a strong, independent female. Yeah. And it's starting from a young age, because I think, what tools can I give my daughter? What can I do that's going to set her up? And I agree, talking about financial literacy, talking about opportunities, talking about resilience, failure. Failure is key.
Failure is key.
Failure is key.
Should be obsessed with failure. I can't wait to fail at something these days. Anyway, and do it like I'm literally not arsed anymore. I literally go on, let's just do it. Let's just do it quick. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Oh we're just blowing a load of money on that. Well, whatever, it didn't work. What have we learned? Win or learn. That's what you're doing, isn't it?
Isn't it? But that's part of owning your own business. So you know what I mean?
Everybody knows I'm dogged by Royal Mail. I fucking hate them. But
how come you're still with them?
Right, so this is it, because everybody says this, right? So we were with Royal Mail in the beginning and they lost so much post. Like so much, like £100,000 worth of post. Right?
No. Absolutely
they
not.
obviously disagreed. And I was like, no, it's like literally there. I've got a file that big of Elle-Sera versus Royal Mail. So I was like, they can fuck off. I hate them. Sorry for swearing so much, guys, on this podcast. So then I was like, right, let's just go with Every. So we were going with Every, more expensive and everything. But to be fair to them, it was the better service. Yeah. And then I was chatting to so then we went to a fulfillment centre, and they are a fulfillment centre now. So they're a big, big company and they use Royal Mail. So, and we kept saying, well, don't use Royal Mail, we hate them. Like we hate them and they won't give us any money back. And they think they offered me $2,000.
On $100,000 loss.
So I was like, we hate them, don't use them. So we were using Every exclusively, and they were like, no, they're really good for us. I was like, no, we hate them. So they were like, agreed, and we're paying a lot in shipping. Now, bearing in mind, we make the packet as small as it is to go through your letterbox, so it's convenient for the customer. So that's a particular price, and we're paying like a parcel price with Every. This is so boring for everybody listening, but this is the truth, right? So we're paying a parcel price with Every. Anyway, so I was like, God, we'd save like 30 odd grand if we went back to Royal Mail, you know, because of their like large letter size. So we did that. Well, oh my God. I can't tell you how much post has been lost.
Again.
This is through the fulfillment centre. So even they're like scratching their head and going,
why is it your stuff that that's a strange one?
This is the thing. And I said to them, I said, it must be other people. They were like, no. And anyway, turns out it is other people too. And I was like, because I signed this contract. So live and learn. This is my whole point, coming back to failure, right? So you live and learn. I've gone back. So I'd signed a contract with Royal Mail again for 12 months. I'm now going to rip up that contract and just say, you can get fucked. Like, no, because you've literally lost everything again.
What will the fulfillment centre do?
So they're on the phone to them a lot because they, because they obviously send like
ball for them though, like
hundreds of thousands of packages with them. It is a ball. And now they've had to give us a big credit note on it and everything. So I was just like, no, rip up that contract that I signed. Like, but we had to try it because it was such a big saving. So again, I was willing to try it again, whatever, fail fast and get it out of the way, move on.
Do you know what I'm enjoying though? Talking about failure to other people. Now, our young people will grow up thinking, like you said earlier, we were talking about business growth and how realistic 3 years, like this has taken me a long time on the KD Club to get it to where it is, of research, etc. But they need to know that it takes a long time. Like this is year, 2 years, and the effort that goes into it. And equally that you will fail, and it's okay, get back on, let's try again. But again, because we're both entrepreneurs, and you and your partner entrepreneurs will say, it's fine, try again. You're low risk, you're risk averse. I'm like, just have another go.
Well, here is it, Under Armour didn't like do any sales. And I mean like virtually nothing for 7 years.
Wild.
Yeah.
So did all the kids know that? Who wears that? Who wear it? No,
of course not. And then you just see overnight successes, don't you? And then you see like there's a guy I follow on LinkedIn. He's got a brand. Danny bought some stuff by this brand and I saw it on the desk at home. It's called Capo. And then I seen this lad, he put an Instagram, a LinkedIn post up. It was spelled all incorrectly and stuff. And it said,
not now, not when you can have AI, like there's no need.
CEO of Capo. I thought, that's that brand that Danny likes. So I followed him. I thought, bless him. Anyway, and he's only local as well. I think he's from like Rishton or somewhere. So he's not far away. But they're doing like, because he's put it on his LinkedIn and stuff, they're doing over $1 million a month. $1 million a month. Yeah.
That's wild.
And that was a long time ago. So
that's wild.
Yeah, so they said that who gives a shit if you can't spell it in LinkedIn post there very well.
That's wild.
Exactly. So, and these are these like brands that have just come out of nowhere, but they've probably been hustling in some shape or form, do you know what I mean, for ages.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just don't see that. You just don't see the downsides of it, the failures, the trials and tribulations.
And I absolutely love that part of business. I love listening to other people. When you talk to other entrepreneurs who say, we've done this, didn't work, because you think it's just you.
Of course.
As a business owner or as a mum. Whether
we always get people saying, would you like to buy, would you like to buy advertising space here? Would you like to do this? Would you like to do that? We've worked with X and X brand. And I always then will find the founder of that brand and ask them what's their experience with that business.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And some people go, oh my God, they're just bullshit and they're absolutely awful. Or they say, actually, it was really good for us. So you've got to, I think other people need to not gatekeep as well. I mean, I'm so open and honest. Like with our figures, with what we, I really am open and honest with other people. Yeah. Because I think it's the best way to be.
I agree. Yeah. We take on some interns, more university student interns, and I'm an open book to them because I'm not going to have them in doing coffee runs. I'm having them in going, this is what it is. Like, you're going to learn a little bit about everything here. Whether it's buying merchandise and how to upload onto the website. I'm going to give you everything. Yeah. And you can walk away and go, absolutely hated that. I don't want anything to do with that. Or I absolutely love that. I want them to see an open, real life company and how much work goes into it because it's really hard. But equally, I think that should be part of, educating our young people into whether it's a creative business or not. Like, this is hard. This is not going to happen overnight. You can't be, we did a survey with young people and the percentage that just want to be YouTubers and footballers.
I know.
There's no vets, there's no astronauts, there's no, it's a really different culture.
Yeah.
And if they can watch someone in this big mansion in Manchester going, I'll be me.
I know.
A YouTuber. Babes, no.
I know. But you've got to work hard at that. You can't just do that overnight either.
No.
You got to be, and I mean, doing that for like 6-7 years, plugging away a video every day, optimizing. Do you know how to optimize that video? What's working? Look at your analytics.
Holy.
What's the hook? Are you going to sit there and do all that? Because that's just like running your own business anyway.
Yeah,
because I've
absolutely.
you've got to learn. I learn from our analytics all the time. Okay, well, that link didn't really work or that promotion didn't work. And we test and learn all the time and iterate from there. But if you do want to be a YouTuber, you're still going to put in the same amount of work.
Yeah. Building a brand, building a personal brand.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
The problem is with that, you're inviting the fox in the hen house, I believe, because now you've got a big target on your back. So everyone on Tattle Life's going to be on top of you and everything that you do, and rip your family apart and find out where you live. And
that's not for me.
No, it's not for me
I don't give
either.
enough of it away. And I think that's always been really important to me. Obviously, you'll see me, I'm a mum. I've got businesses, but I absolutely will not be giving you anything else because I couldn't bear that.
I know.
I couldn't bear that. Like, I'd take it really personally.
Yeah.
I think business is hard enough, whether you've got customer service and, fabric delays and all these other things that you're dealing with, all these balls. But if you've got somebody who's personally talking about you as a parent, you might see it on an off day, anything, I absolutely will not be doing that.
No, I know. I know exactly.
You know what I mean? I think you have to protect yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes me a bit uncomfortable sometimes. And then I'm always a bit like, oh, should I upload that or should I not? I don't know. And I tell you what's happened with me. I used to just shoot my mouth off all the time. Like, honestly, it's so much worse than I am now. But now I think if I had investors in the business, wow, I wouldn't be able to say all. I wouldn't be able to say anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm still very vocal about kind of my views and the way I think and what injustices in the world that I believe are awful. But imagine you had investors, you just wouldn't be able to say a bloody word.
I don't like the idea of having an investor.
No.
I think if I can bootstrap
now
this
you've got
company.
A boss. That's it. You work with them.
And I'm used to being my own boss. Always have done absolutely no one to answer to. I couldn't bear it.
And I see
really
that with other people. I was chatting to Maxine from Absolute Collagen, and she was saying that she'd written a book, but she's like, well, I don't think I'll ever release it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, because I've got to think about other people, about what I've said in there. And I was a bit like, God, what a place to be. Because you've got investors, or she's got a big team of staff, she's like, it might not, you've got to think about them and their families and things like that. And I was just like, I'd hate to be in that position. Where
I agree. I mean, I genuinely think, I don't know how much money I'd want. Like if I got an investor, it took it to a next level. How am I going to spend that money? Because I'm not spending time with my children. Like, I just want this to be a comfortable business. I'm at a stage in my life now where I really want to pull back and spend more time with the children, be on every school run, have my weekends to myself. I see a real value in that. If I was to take on investment, it goes back to what you said, of women building businesses at 50. You said it yesterday on the podcast, and I 100% agree with that. Yeah. I had both my parents worked. My mum worked incredibly hard. She ran a college. I think that was my very first inspiration in business, because she had to hustle. She had to get bums on seats to her classes. She had to be out leafleting. So I think, but I've grown up with a very strong, inspirational mother figure. And Ariana will see that in me, but I couldn't be all over the place away from the home.
No, I agree with you.
So
this is the thing. So I think so if you've got started your business in your 20s, great. And you've got it to a certain point and then you had a baby. Quite rightly, you've dipped out of it. It dips, doesn't it? So you've got business there, you dip out, and then you'll spend these years at home where you probably should be. This is what I always say to people. I'm like, it's either before or after you have a baby. It's very difficult, very difficult. There are women out there who are doing it, but
that's for them.
Great, but I'm gutted that I have to have somebody. I pay other people to look after my little girl when I want to look after her. And then I'm thinking, right, well, this can't be for nothing. I've got to build the value of the business. So let's be riskier. Let's go this. Let's do this. So, but by doing that and taking on more, pushing new projects, now spending even more time away from her. So, and I'm just like, oh, maybe just be a kept woman.
But you couldn't do that. That's a lie. And yours and my dip, when you go, the dip having a baby, that ain't no dip.
No, I know it's not, is it?
Let's have it right. You said yesterday, and I did the same thing. I took a week. I remember the day before I gave birth to Leo, the girl who I'd employed to be a PA, customer services, left.
God.
right, the day before. Thank God for my mum who stepped in, who held it down. But I was back in work a week later and we did an influencer wore a dress. And I remember I had Leo because of that tiny newborn scrunch. He was like an earring. I always wanted an accessory child. And he was cuddled in here and it went live and it was like 60, 70 orders. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. You know, like,
you're buzzing, but also like, oh my God, how are we
like,
going to deal with this?
With this newborn child and another child.
Yeah.
So your and my dip is not a year maternity.
No.
You know, unfortunately, but that's the life we chose. But I just think it's not where I want to be in having an investor to take it to like a national company or anything like that.
You've got forecasts to hit, you've got projections to hit. Yeah, no, I'd rather just take on debt.
I'd rather take on debt and spend time with my kids.
Yeah, same.
Because I don't want any regrets. I said that to a customer. She said, why are you giving up the weddings? I said, I don't want any regrets. I don't want to get to 15 and go, oh, I worked every Saturday. You know, when my daughter's 15, every single Saturday, and I could have been with her.
I know.
Customers are great and I have lovely experiences. Don't get me wrong. I've never had a bridezilla. I enjoy what I do immensely, but it can't be both at this time. You know what I mean? And I think it takes a certain level of confidence in yourself to make that decision and go, okay, we'll just think of other ways around it.
Yeah. And I do take Grace away with me as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know, God, when I was going to meet my fulfillment centre and stuff, she was there. They made her a high-vis jacket.
I love it.
Do you know what I mean?
Wait, that's brilliant. And aren't we lucky to do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they get to see all that.
I know. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. And like when I was up for an award and it was in the afternoon and I was like, well, I haven't got a babysitter.
Love that.
So I took her to the award show as my date.
I love that. And I think that's what you'll see. It's like all this stuff in the Olympics now. We are going to see this going forward. Like, they've set up a nursery. Are you kidding? Has this not happened before? What an obvious thing.
Yeah.
You know, that women can breastfeed on the side.
Yeah.
Like, you take your daughter to an awards ceremony.
Yeah.
You know, I'll take Ariana on a photo shoot. Everything it should be.
Yeah, I know.
It should be how we choose it to be.
I know. And I've got like a work trip I need to go on. Again, I'm going to drag her there. But I feel a bit tight on her because it's like out of her routine, you know. And then if I'm trying to have a serious meeting with somebody, I'm like, okay, sorry, I've just got my baby there. He's playing on the floor. Do you know what I mean? And I feel tight on her sometimes. So, yeah, it can be difficult. But
then you're at our meeting and then you've got the rest of the afternoon with her. She's there rather than, you know, I think.
Well, the worst thing is when I'm away from her because she just hates it. Yeah. You know, she wants her mum, especially at night time. She wakes up screaming, crying for me if I'm not there. So it's either she comes and... Yeah.
Oh, I 100% agree with that. Yeah, 100%. And I think they're growing up around it and they see it all as we travel, we do this, you know, they're really well adjusted and super social.
Yeah.
And I think that's key. Like, we were always dropping off my mum, my dad, his mum. They come into work, you know, the tailors, you know, they'd see customers and they end up being these quite social little confident beings. And like on Leo's report, they said they were surprised at how well he could speak to other adults. And that's because they're grown up in this like,
definitely.
Oh yeah, great. You know, you're all tall, you know, I'll talk to you. It's great. I don't see any negativity in it at all.
No, you're not wrong. Grace got her. I was going on about kids supplements, and so I was speaking to this company about their kids supplements, and they were outstanding. So they were like, "Oh, we'll send you some for your daughter." So she got her first little unboxing.
Winning.
I know.
love that.
Yeah, it's so funny. But I think we've got time to wrap it up there. So thank you so much for coming in today, Kirsty.
Pleasure.
If people want to get hold of you, how do they get hold of you?
Best way is you can follow us on Instagram, which is Kirsty Doyle. So you'll see a little bit of everything on there, bridal, women's wear, KD Club, a bit of everything. So you can catch up with me there or you can catch up with the Kirsty Doyle Club.
Fabulous. Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you very much for coming in and I'll speak to you soon.
Pleasure.
Bye.